وجمع بينكما في خير.
That knowledge is the universal heritage of man. Knowledge is the reason Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has elevated man. Someone said, Alhamdulillah, kam ata wa kam wahaba min fadlihi sharrafa al-insana bil adaba. Allah elevated man because of knowledge. Without knowledge, we will be less than beasts. Without knowledge, Allah will not accept from us any act of worship, because knowledge is supposed to inform action. Allah extolled the virtue of knowledge so much so that He categorized the people of knowledge as a people that are specially chosen and blessed. يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات. In this verse of the Quran, Allah talked about faith, and He said the people of faith will be elevated as a result of their faith. وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَةً. And those who are imbued with knowledge will have a degree above that. The shaitan is terrified with one single knowledgeable person, much more than 1,000 worshippers. Worship and knowledge, which is superior? 1 hour that is spent at night to acquire knowledge is better than the whole night spent in worship. The ink of the scholar is worth much more than the blood of the martyr. Innama yakhsha Allah. Allah says in the Quran, Innama yakhsha Allah min ibadihi al-ulama. Those who really are conscious of Allah are those who are knowledgeable among His servants. But when we talk of knowledge in Islam, we're talking of 1, the epistemology of knowledge. 2, we're talking of the categorization of knowledge. 3, we are talking of the do's and don'ts of the acquisition and the utilization of knowledge. Islam believes that every knowledge, like the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, al-hikmatu dhalatul mu'min haythu wajadaha akhazaha. Wisdom is the lost property of a believer. Wherever he finds it, he takes it. But in taking knowledge, there is an epistemology. Epistemology is simply the principles for deciphering which knowledge is useful, which knowledge is useless, which knowledge is harmful, which knowledge advances, which knowledge retrogrades. Islam gives us a prism through which we evaluate everything. Islam sees knowledge as a universal heritage and gives us a manner of approach that is uniquely Islamic. The purpose of knowledge is to understand and serve Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. That is the purpose of knowledge in Islam. Knowledge acquired for the sake of Allah becomes useful knowledge. Someone says, one of our Imams, he said, طلبنا العلم لغير الله فأبى أن يكون illa lillah. We started seeking for knowledge, but it is not for the sake of Allah. But knowledge itself refused to be acquired except for the sake of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. In Islam, there are three things that knowledge addresses. It addresses the rational mind. Knowledge addresses the rational mind. That is why the Quran will invite us. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ وَإِلَى الْجِبَالِ كَيْفَ نُصِبَتْ وَإِلَى الْأَرْضِ كَيْفَ سُطِحَتْ. Or the Quran will say, لَوْ كَانَ فِيهِمَا آلِهَةٌ إِلَّا اللَّهُ لَفَسَدَتَا. If there had been more than one God controlling the universe, then there would have been crisis. Knowledge addresses the rational mind, rationality. That is the intellect. Knowledge addresses akhlaq, morality. And knowledge addresses the term I don't like to use, but I have to use. It addresses spirituality. Rationality, morality, and spirituality all rolled into one. And it is the sunnah of Allah that the most knowledgeable set of human beings on earth are usually the leaders. When the Muslims took knowledge very seriously, they were leading the world. But when they became complacent, they became the net consumers of knowledge products. Today, there are those who research and develop knowledge. There are those who buy knowledge products, but not knowledge itself. Unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of people in the Muslim world buy the product of knowledge. Go to Dubai, you see the product of knowledge, not knowledge. Because they have a lot of money to buy the product of knowledge. You see metro, you see electricity, you see everything running, you see computerization. They have enough money to buy a product of knowledge, not knowledge itself. There are majority of the Muslim countries they are not even keen on buying knowledge. Nigeria, we're neither in the forefront of knowledge development, nor even in purchasing the product of knowledge. Our educational system is a sham. It is just emphasizing literacy and numeracy so that a child can go to school and speak English, not to use the mind and the hand to develop products. So we have become net consumers of knowledge from a position of net producers of knowledge to net consumers of knowledge products. The whole of the life of a Muslim is to seek knowledge. Min al-mahadi ila al-lahadi. From the cradle to the grave. Very unfortunately, this is the beginning and end of our knowledge. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp is the BBM. This is the beginning and end. We waste time even in Ramadan. It is more precious than the Quran. Your ringtone you are more alert to it than the adhan. They will call the adhan, you will not wake up. But your phone will ring and you will wake up. You will be in the toilet and you can go from the bathroom naked to answer a call. It could be a madman calling you. For the sake of Allah, you still go and answer it. It's still not possible for anyone here to sit for 10 minutes without opening his or her phone. But you can be there for 10 months without opening the Quran. You read your messages, text message, WhatsApp, Messenger, and all, per minute, per minute. The message from Allah, how often do you read it? Even when you are driving, you just want to stay connected. You use Bluetooth, and if it is dangerous to answer calls while you are driving, you make it convenient for yourself. Now my question is, where are all these leading you? Today, even the pepper seller has learned the basics of how to operate the cell phone. But I'm just afraid for us. I'm sure all of us have the Quran here in our phones, have you? Downloaded, including tafsir. Don't you think this thing will come on the day of judgment and argue against us? Is it the problem of access now, or the problem of interest? Islam attained greatness as a result of devotion to knowledge. Islam has started one of the biggest intellectual movements in human history. Unfortunately today, we could even have a situation where a group among us will say knowledge is haram. How did we come to such a pass? Out of all of us that are here, how many of us are really involved in active learning or active teaching? Our mosques used to be centers of learning. In fact, we started the university system, a universe of knowledge. Look at school enrollment. We are the poorest. Look at graduation lists. We are the least. I can tell you because I'm close to those who are involved in Islamic finance. I may not be involved myself, but I'm close to those who are involved. I can tell you that some of the experts today are non-Muslims. If you have 10 PhDs in Islamic finance, 7 will be non-Muslims. 3 will be Muslims. Some heads of Islamic finance units in big banks are not Muslims. When you meet them at conferences, you will be stunned. Our greatness is in returning to knowledge and its active pursuance, not lip service. Our success as individuals is in becoming active seekers of knowledge or active teachers of knowledge. Our success is in converting our mosques to centers of learning, not prayer shops. Today, prayers, supplication, even though I admit it's part of Islam, has become the most important part, the most important activity in our mosque. Knowledge has taken the back seat. And therefore, we as a community have also taken the back seat. Call people to learn, they will not come. Call them for miracle, they will come. Special prayer has replaced special classes. As-salatu has replaced classes to learn hadith. As-salatu sessions have replaced halqatul ilm. What manner of a community is this? Is this really what the community of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam should?
All praises and gratitude is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the controller of all affairs. Admonition Islamic Center hereby express our solidarity with Nigerians at this critical moment of our nationhood due to the scourge of COVID-19 globally. We especially feel for the Muslim Ummah, who from all indications will have to start the 2020 Ramadan season in complete lockdown. There won't be Taraweeh, no physical tafsir sessions, no joint iftar, no itikaf, and possibly no Eid al-Fitr prayers. For the same reason, the AIC is supposed to be 10 years this year, and arrangements have been concluded to feature 10 guest speakers for 10 hours at the prestigious National Art Theatre Igomu, Lagos on Saturday 2nd May 2020. But by Allah's will, it will not hold again. We take solace in the fact that Allah is the best of all planners and He alone knows best. We beseech Allah to spare our lives till next year's Ramadan 2021, inshallah. We pray for Allah's forgiveness, that Allah heals the world, put an end to this pandemic, and give us the privilege to be together for His sake again, to witness more Ramadan in good health. Ameen. Inshallah, our focus this 2020 Ramadan in our own little way is to provide foodstuffs to the fasting Muslims who are in need. May your rewards be great with Allah as you join us to make this dream a reality. For inquiries, call 0802-335-5870, 0808-690-5870, or 0708-378-7920. Account details: Admonition Islamic Center, Bank, Sterling Bank, account number 050-021-1796. Lukman Adekombi for AIC. Ramadan Mubarak.
رمضان يا حبيب بارك عليكما وجمع بينك.
It's an honor to have you at this event.
You're welcome.
What do you think about the organizers of this event?
Well, the event is like you can see from the attendance, is well received by the community, and is a very important contribution to the propagation of knowledge and to the propagation of Islam.
It's an opportunity for Muslims to learn more. And I think most importantly, also as a speaker, I also learned quite a lot from the other speakers, and also provoked a lot of the salient questions and the challenges that we face as Muslims. And I think that's the most important thing, that it has provoked something in us, and we hope that we also take action.
And sir, concerning Islamic education in Nigeria, we have Muslim schools springing up here and there. What is your say about it?
How Islamic are these Muslim schools? A Muslim school is not just Islamic by being Muslim school. It is by the content of the curricula that they teach in these schools. If it is such that it balances between acquiring education and also the religion, then we can say is Islamic. The aim of Islamic education is to train a complete human being, and a complete human being consists of the rational, that's the brain, the cognition and the rest, the morality and the spirit. Islamic education is structured in such a way that it teaches, it ministers to each of these, so that what comes out of it is a total product, a real human being that is well balanced in the way he or she looks at the world, relates with other fellow human beings, and worships Allah.
What is your message to Muslims out there who are holding back from recognizing themselves as Muslims?
I think it all stems from knowledge. Once you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the confidence. And once you don't have that confidence, you feel inferior. And once you feel inferior, you can't even talk about Islam. And not just talk about Islam, but it doesn't even reflect in you. So it starts from being knowledgeable about the Deen, and also being knowledgeable about your own profession or your own career. That way, you're able to, like the Imam said, you're able to see everything from the prism of Islam. And that way, you're able to explain Islam in the proper context.
Yes, sir, this is the month of Ramadan. What is your note to Muslims out there?
Take advantage of it. It is the best of the months that Allah has given you. Make the best use of it. Don't allow laziness to overtake you. And it is an opportunity for a rebirth. Conscientious worship will give you 84 credit years of pure and, a clean worship.
Okay, on a final note, sir, people have the feeling that Islam is about violence, Muslims are this and that. What is your note to Muslims and non-Muslims outside about Muslims and Islam?
They are wrong. That is not Islam. They are only pandering to media propaganda against Islam. Muslims are peaceful. Islam is peaceful. Islam has contributed a lot to the world as we know it. We are the foreigners in knowledge, in science, in research, in development. So we are not to the extent that Christian Europe that brought the two world wars on mankind Christianity cannot be held responsible for the world wars. Islam also cannot be held responsible for the action of a few deviants.
Sir, finally, you are the Chief Missioner of Ansar. How has it been so far, sir?
Very tasking, very challenging. Ameen.
Thank you very much, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. So if today we say we want to start building a generation of Muslims who would market Islam well, how do you think we should go about it?
The first step is to seek knowledge, to start a silent army of knowledgeable Muslims. Because that's where, once you understand classical Islam, you can explain contemporary issues that come up. So, and it also makes you even active in the community. You become an active citizen. You're not dormant. You're not afraid to talk about Islam. So it starts with those above us who have mentored us, and for us also coming up to also mentor the next generation. And I think it's really, really important that we do this.
بارك الله لكما وبارك عليكما وجمع